3, 2, 1. Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships and Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are in the Gangut Tier 3 Battleship for the Russians. And without further ado, let's get to the commander build. We have Mikhail Kedrov and we have Andrew Cunningham and Robert Jojard as the inspirations. We've got this, and this. If you guys need to, you can pause the video. That way you can check that out even more. And without further ado, let's check out the ship. We have Aiming Systems Mod 1. We are fully upgraded. Gives us 3 heals and 4 damage control charges. Survivability, 40,500 hit points with a maximum of 305 millimeters of armor, which is actually pretty good for the low tiers. Torpedo damage reduction, 17%, not bad. Not amazing, but not bad. 305 millimeter main batteries with 12 of them. 4 3-gun turrets, reaching out to 13.3 kilometers with our tank build, and has a reload of 36 seconds. The 180 degree turn time, not great at 40.9 seconds, pretty bad. HE shell, AP shell damage, not too bad. Chance to set on fire, 33%, which is pretty good. It's got a 16 casemate 120 millimeter guns, 8 on each side, and they shoot HE as well. Maneuverability, 23 knots, maximum speed. We have a 660 meter turning radius, which is pretty good. 10.2 seconds rudder shift, also pretty good for a battleship. Detectability by sea, 12 kilometers, which is really good for a battleship. 9.6 by air with a 9.2 kilometer smoke penalty. So if you're firing in the smoke, if there is nothing inside of 9.2 kilometers from you, you're not going to be detected, which is something that you can utilize sometimes. But keep in mind, you can only reach out to 13.3 kilometers with these guns in their current build. Superior AP penetration, above average AP shell penetration. Pretty straightforward and simple. All of the Russian ships seem to have that as far as the battleships go. It's ironclad, has above average armor thickness, greater resistance to all forms of armor penetration. So yes, the armor is pretty good, especially for its tier. Gangut, part of the first series of dreadnought battleships built in Russia. She was armed with 12 main battery guns. The ship's features included a significant area of side armor and a general layout providing a full sideboard salvo. So in other words, a full broadside salvo at the widest possible angles. So in other words, getting these guns all to bear on the same target at the widest angle possible so that you can maintain effective armor angling to keep from getting citadel. You're going to see quite a bit of that in the video coming up. Part of the first series of dreadnought battleships built in Russia, she was armed with... Oh, we already read that, dummy. She entered service in 1914 and had 4 ships in the series. So, without further ado, let's get this party started. By the way, you can hide the UI. I forgot about that. And you can zoom in. Whee! Get a pretty good look at the ship's model. You can see those 120 millimeter casemate guns. It's a good looking ship. I like it. Alrighty, so we are on a ring and we are top tier. And that's going to be a huge thing in this match, because I was testing a lot about this ship in this match. You'll see I switched quite a bit early on between high explosive, armor piercing, just to try to get a feel for the ship, because you never know until you try something, right? So yeah, we're gonna give her a try, and I'll be real honest, this is gonna be one heck of a finish. So hopefully you guys are down for the count, because we're gonna do this. Now, first of all, I will say this: I actually enjoyed this match quite a bit. I got myself into some trouble. I managed to, you know, you'll see. I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to spoil it. for you guys. I think you're going to enjoy this one quite a bit. And there might even be some potato moments in there from me. So I hope you're ready for that as well. But yeah, so we're going to head over to A, protect our team as best we can, and do as much damage as possible. In theory, that's the goal. Now, you'll notice right off the bat, I forgot that I was in a new ship, hadn't actually used it before, so the first salvo is going to be high explosive. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. And it looks like the enemy Gangut over there is having the exact same... Oh, hello, Celadon, or Caladon. Shot out, and wait for it. It's high explosive, right? Citadel. You gotta love it. I forgot that was a thing at these low tiers, man. You can actually Citadel enemy cruisers with high explosive. So, yeah, we're going to be using that later on as well. Well, we've got a Bogatyr out here. We've got another Gangut out here. The Caladon was over there. Oh, and we have a V170. Unfortunately, I just switched over to armor piercing, so I'm going to focus the enemy Gangut, who's giving me too much broadside. So, see if we can hit him. Shot out. Shot looks very good. And... not a bad hit. Not a bad hit. Remember, this is not a dispersion build. This is a tank build. So, yeah, that's the thing. Anyway, we're going to back out, get a good shot at the Bogatyr here, hopefully. He's reversing. He's getting around to the outside of our effective range there, to 12 kilometers. Once you get beyond 12 kilometers and you're in a tank build, I'm sure it's not as bad if you're in a dispersion build Russian battleship. But in the tank build battleships, for sure, once you get beyond that 12 kilometers, that's when the dispersion really starts to troll you. But there we get a pretty good result. Can't argue with that. We get a pretty solid two full penetrations, one partial, or one overpen. And now the Caladon comes back out. Unfortunately, we can't worry about him because there's a V170 here who needs our attention. Now, yes, I do have armor piercing loaded. That's what I've got. It's what I've got to work with. But you'll notice the V170 has changed course. He's like, I don't want to go out here after all. So then he charges back in towards our cruiser, who's in a Danae, and the Danae should be able to deal with this V170. But the Danae's not really paying attention. Now, we take a shot here trying to get it over the mountain. Can't quite pull it off. A couple rounds slip through, but that's it. We have the Gangut out ahead of us we've got to be careful with, but he's turning away. The enemy V170 has launched all of his torpedoes at our Danae, and Danae should be able to finish him off. Surely the Danae is going to kill a destroyer, right? Never mind. V170's like, screw this, I missed all my torpedoes, I'm just going to shoot him to death. It's a Danae. It's not that difficult. You load armor piercing, you'll Citadel the ever-living crap out of him with a destroyer. And I know he's here. And sure enough, we finally find him. Now here's the armor piercing salvo. You'll notice I switch immediately to high explosive, and then I start turning away. You could either turn away or turn towards him. But I want to turn away. He's appearing to do the same. He's like, okay, this guy just fired. He's going to be able to get to me. However, by turning away, I effectively get myself out of the range of his torpedoes. He's at 4 kilometers, so that's why he's firing his guns. He may fire his torpedoes here in a moment, but I don't think he has enough range to hit me if I'm sailing away. So here I turn back and get all of the guns to bear, and I'm waiting for him to make the first move. I want him to turn broadside in front of me. So I just hold the guns there, and then you'll see god-awful dispersion, and then we do connect with that salvo, the last 3 guns, but yeah, it wasn't preferable. Definitely not the result we were hoping for, but if he doesn't actually decide to turn broadside, there's nothing I can really do about it. I can't afford to go straight into him. You can see torpedoes. I believe this thing actually has like some front tubes that it can launch that are single tubes, which is what that was, I'm assuming. So I've got to be careful here, and then I let the secondaries start opening up on him, and then I turn in, and somehow he lived through that. But he gets some torpedoes off here, which is unfortunate. Are we going to be able to dodge them all? Come on, Spartan, quicker, quicker. Nope, he got me. Darn it. But he's now down. We're switching back to armor piercing. There are 2 cruisers off to my right. We just lost our battleship. There's a Gangut out here up front.
Problem solved, sir.
And I'm in a bad way. It's going to take a monumental effort for me to come out of this on the good side. Now, it is the domination, and there are people capping our base right now. So that is something to consider. But the biggest threat to me right now is this enemy Gangut. We have to try to do something about him. Now, we're being shot at, which is not preferable. But the Gangut doesn't get a whole lot off of us, but he gives up a lot of broadside for me. Unfortunately, we get 3 penetrations, but only one of them really counted for any sort of damage. And then the Caledon behind me is once again firing at me, so I'm just going to try to get the rear gun on him, fire the gun, and see what happens. And if I have to, I'll switch back to high explosive to deal with him, because we know that we can Citadel him. Yeah, that's just overpins, which is kind of what I figured was going to happen. But if I have to, I'll switch back to to high explosive to deal with him in a moment. He's not a big threat to me. So we try to bounce everything that we can, and he actually gets a pretty solid hit on us there. And so because he just fired, we're going to try to turn, and we do get a very, very good shot onto him that time. And now we're going to try to turn back. Unfortunately, I get a little bit, I'm not sure what I should do here moment. And this is going to cost me potentially the game. I'm not going to lie. This move right here cost me probably the game. Yes, we've got him on fire, but I'm broadside onto him. And we've already seen what happens when you're broadside to these things. And, oh, yep, that right there, that hurt. That hurt real good. Real good. However, 2 can play that game. And now he's in the exact same position I was in, except he had lower health. But because we just threw away all of our hit points, we now have no choice but to try to avoid damage from here on out. We can't afford to take any more damage. That was a stupid play by me, and like I said, that could potentially have cost me the match. Now, we're going to be able to heal some of this back, which is a good thing, because if we couldn't, we would be screwed. But we are going to be able to heal a little bit of that back and get ourselves into a better position. However, the Caledon, and you can see I've already preloaded a high explosive for this actual moment because I knew he would be the next person that I target. So I wanted to make sure that I could Citadel him with my high explosive again, as long as he gives me a flat broadside to shoot at, which is what he's doing. Wait for it. Pow! Really? Really? So I can Citadel him, or I can just shatter 2 rounds off of him and not touch him. Come on, game. Not right now. I need you to cooperate. I don't have the health for 2 cruisers right now. I need you to work with me, game. Can you do that for me? Can you work with me? That's all I'm asking. So, yeah, we're going to load another salvo. And again, he did not learn his lesson from the first time he got hit. He got cocky the last time. We're going to go ahead and try it again and see what works. Wait for it. Pow! There's the Citadel. And we managed to take most of his health away. The reason I'm using high explosive is because, yes, I can Citadel him, and B, I would actually not be getting good damage with my armor piercing due to the fact that I would be overpinning him. Now that our heal has come back, we're going to go ahead and try to use it and try to get rid of these guys once and for all. Now, this Caledon can't survive the next salvo, right? Surely I will hit him and Citadel him one last time to get him out of here. Hopefully. Except he's starting to bow tank me. Is that going to be a problem? We don't Citadel him, but we do set 2 fires, and it looks like they are going to stay. So I switch back to armor piercing and getting ready to shoot the other cruiser behind me. And then, of course, in true Spartan fashion, this guy's cooldown on his damage control comes back just in the nick of time to leave him with just enough health to be a pain in my ass. I mean, pain in my butt. I apologize. But at this point, I'm like, oh god, and I just gave my broadside to the Bogatyr. Luckily, he missed. I don't know how, but he did. Now here I am focusing the Bogatyr with the sole intent of using my secondaries to get rid of the Caledon, and the Bogatyr just slams on the brakes and gets away from it for the moment. Secondaries start firing, and sure enough, they do take down the Caledon. And I managed to dodge his torpedoes. Now, back to the Bogatyr. Now, you're not going to sit there broadside on, stopped, because that only works once. You know, you can only slam on your brakes one time and catch me off guard. You're really not going to like the ending of this if you're going to just sit there. Because I'll take it. Wait for it. Shot out, and pow! How is that not a Citadel? Oh my god. We just 4 overpins on him and 1 single penetration on the belt line of a Bogatyr. Come on. Really, game? Meanwhile, he's nickeling and diming us. He's not really doing any significant damage to us at all. A couple hits for 100 or 200 there, here and there. He's not really doing anything to us. That, I think, was 400 damage he got in that salvo. And, as you've already seen, I can do a significant amount of damage to him with each salvo. And down. Oh, there's the Citadel. Of course, that's the killer. Now, about this time, I realize that it's too late. We need to get some caps. So I get in here, I try to get into the cap so that we can flip this cap. They've got 3 caps, we've only got 1. If we can get 2, that'll at least give us an edge, but I would still need to kill the man in order to win. Or my teammate could kill the guy and we win that way. Needless to say, that does not quite happen. Their Gangut beats our Gangut, and about this time, I look up and I've got 4 kills, and the enemy has 4 kills as well. And we're both in Ganguts. And I only have 1 chance to win this match. So, one of us is getting a Kraken. That's all I'm saying. I can't afford to sit here and cap this base. I need to start turning the direction which I think he would be going. Now, generally speaking, enemies get pretty damage hungry, even though he's got the win in hand. He has the win. He doesn't have to engage, doesn't have to do anything. However, he's 1 kill away from a Kraken. And you see, that was the double take where I'm like, oh, he's got 4 kills as well. Shoot, that's going to be a problem. But surely that means he's damaged as well, which means it's pretty much down to whether I'm better than he is in the moment. And we're going to find out. Am I better than he is in the moment? Are we even going to run into each other? Only got a minute and a half left in the match. He's winning. It would be stupid for him to come out and give me a shot. It would be stupid for that to happen. Spoiler alert, he's going to come out and give me a shot. But this is where my potato moment comes in. Up to this point, I've played a pretty decent game with the exception of the stupid moment of going broadside on in front of the enemy Gangut and losing all of my hit points. Luckily that I survived through that to begin with, to get to this point. But I have 6,400 health left. And that's an interesting number, because that means that I could potentially be killed with just a couple penetrations of plunging fire through the deck armor. Now here I am assuming that I am better than him and faster than him, and I can turn my ship back, and unfortunately, I was wrong. Darn it! Denied the Kraken. But at the end of the day, a Gangut gets a Kraken, so the meat the video stands for itself. It's a good ship. I enjoy the Gangut. But yeah, you could see I was pretty happy with the result, even though it was pretty dumb. I tried to send him a message say a GG, but unfortunately I can't. So yeah, if you guys like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.